YouTube, it's Brian Phillips again. We've got the Valiant 1.3. We're flying it on 4000 3S. This is gonna be a second thoughts video for us. We've been trying to give you guys more of the second thoughts. We wait for a really nice day for a second thoughts. If we have a maiden and it's windy, we wanna give you guys a real good feel for what this plane can do. Obviously, if you're watching this and it's the first video you've seen, there's also the maiden, which is done after the, well, it's actually done on the video with the unbox, build, and radio setup. So if you're curious kind of how we do things, there's playlists on this channel, and you can simply find the playlist for whatever plane you want, and there will be more footage if we've got it. Takeoff flaps deployed. We did increase the flaps a little bit on this plane. Oh, yes. Out of the flaps. Flew this in wind the other day, and now it's like pretty much dead calm. I love flying planes. This thing flies so much like the Rascal now that I sit and think about it. The Rascal is a SIG plane that my grandpa had built, and many of you guys that have been in the hobby for a while will know exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, this thing is just gorgeous. Just really, really easy flying. Look how fast it recovers. A little bit of throttle there. I want so badly to dip the tip of my landing gear in the snow. About 40% throttle there on that turn. You could see it was kind of wanting to fall out for me a little bit. Just got done doing a second thoughts video on the T-28. Beautiful plane, guys. If you haven't seen it yet, you definitely need to check it out. Full speed pass. This thing acts like it's on 4S, but it's on 3. Full landing flaps coming down. Slowing it down for you guys at home. We're going to the bull here. Showed you what it can do with 30% throttle, full flap deflection, a lot of rudder to keep that nose pointed where I want it. Get it tipped. Level out your ailerons, use the elevator and the rudder to make these turns. I don't think we're dead calm anymore, but we're really, really close to it, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Just to give you an idea of how big the bull is, it's a 1.3 meter plane. I would say that 1.1 meter T-28, it flies even better than this plane. And yet we don't have flaps. Now, that being said, you can still do a lot with this plane. And this is a gorgeous, gorgeous plane. A little bit more skill required. Love the marks on the bottom. Love the blue and white. And just look how fast it is on 3S. AS3X only. Right now, we do have safe on this plane. It's safe select. So yes, you can turn it off. Safe is on now. Look how snappy that was. Got to go up high because I didn't want to hit the tree line. Using full rudder here and just a little bit, about 50% of your Some planes do better on safe select than others. The limited bank angles on this thing are just, they're pretty good. That's full rudder and full aileron with safe, and that's nothing. Takeoff flaps, landing flaps. We have safe on, about 50% rudder, 50% aileron. Look how beautiful that is. 50% on the other direction. A little bit of throttle here just to show you how slow it'll fly. Safe is one of the few technologies out there that I trust to automatically level my plane. Guys, it's one of the best. Whoa, got tipped by the wind. Look how nice you can do it with safe. You gotta fly almost totally different though, because you gotta move those sticks all the way out, which is what a beginner pilot's gonna wanna do. Out of the safe, takeoff flaps only. Full landing flaps. We'll show you some slow flight performance without safe now. You can really get into it, change your angle of attack a little bit better. You can... 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. You can really just make this thing fly almost flat circles at almost no airspeed. We'll do a contrary aileron input there to keep it flat, mostly flat. Got to get around before I hit the trees. And then come up here over the berm. Oh, that was close. Sorry, camera crew. I was making her nervous. I like playing with the snow berms because it gives you something to see. When you're really, really close to stuff, I just feel like it's a more interesting flight to watch. If you're like, oh, look, up against the sky, congratulations. You're like every other airplane. Now, that being said, this plane needs a little bit of that thrust over the control surfaces. Otherwise, she doesn't like to keep flying for you, or she's not controllable at least. Got a little bit of wind coming at us right now, and that wind is kind of screwing up my approaches from this side, so we'll try it again. You good there, camera crew?
Yeah.
More conventional approach here. Oh, right into the snow berm. We can't end on that. You know me. Takeoff flaps here. The extra flap deployment, it doesn't quite turn the plane into a STOL. If you go that way, I'll take off behind you there, and then you can stay kind of at the edge of the runway.
Okay.
At the edge of the runway, hon.
Which edge?
Well, I guess you're fine there. If I know you're on the outside, you're fine. The wind has kicked up every time I try to do that. I'm gonna go the other direction.
Okay.
We're gonna like land into the wind like you should with an airplane. Man, that thing is so beautiful. It's got quite the presence for not being an overly large plane, really. I don't know if you guys could hear it earlier, but my radio system was telling me to land. It was a few minutes ago, like 2.5 minutes, 2 minutes and 45 seconds right now. Full landing flaps, pushing the nose down just a hair for approach. She gets a little bit squirrely when you're trying to drop the tail down. I think what's happening is when you get the tail on the ground, and if it lifts a little bit, then the rudder is big and it's still effective, so it snaps you back. But once you pull that tail down and you actually get it stuck to the ground, you can control it. I just, honestly, myself, I prefer to have more of a dragged out landing where she sits on the mains and she'll keep that tail up. But we just have this little bit of wind that's whipping up over the top of that hill, and you guys can't see it on camera, but I can definitely see it as a pilot. Yeah. I said it wasn't a STOL. Man, that thing is gorgeous, isn't it?
Yeah,
just
it's really cool.
That snow. Remember, guys, this is on 3S, okay? If she'll do 4S, I'm not aware of it. And you're probably thinking to yourself, but Brian, you're supposed to be aware of these things. Yes, I agree. Watch out for the power line, Brian. That was pretty close to the power line. You want to trade spots here? Good job. Okay, we'll bring it out for a more conventional landing. Under the runway, we'll do takeoff flaps. Takeoff flaps are dialed in. Right about 30% throttle here. 0% throttle, full landing flaps to slow it down. And there you have it, guys. I knew it was going to go off the edge. Well, I wanted to push the nose, and so when you get on the mains and it becomes a balancing act, then you have to push the elevator forward so that you can keep the plane on its mains, and it just looks so gorgeous. That being said, my extra flaps have kind of complicated the pivot point a little bit. I think stock, it was a little easier to get it to stand on its mains. So far, the Valiant is amazing. It's a very good plane. Safe works well on it. If you want something that's easy to fly, this would easily be a second, third plane, no problem. It's definitely a good flying plane. It's solid. It's going to stand up to some wear and tear. Maybe if you have a rough landing or two, those landing gears should splay out. You can just push them back because that aluminum will bend. And when it does, you can bend it back. Same thing was true with the Cirrus SR22T and the 1.3 meter size, real similar size, real narrow wing chord. You'd come in and shoot landings and takeoffs all day long with that thing. I don't remember if the pants were noisy on that one. The pants are noisy on this one, which is a little bit of an off-putting thing for me, but it's not a big deal. They don't bind, you just hear them. Mm-hmm. So not a big deal. I mean, even the EC1500 sounds like that too. And it's a beautiful plane. It's got this, tremendous 1.5 meter scale to it. And then you come in and you hear this like, it just sounds ridiculous. But there again, like I said, there's certain aspects of flight that you just don't really care that much, but it's definitely, you notice it. So that being said, love the plane. The Valiant's a great one. Check the link in the description below. We'll link to the 4003S. We really like the way it flies on the 4003S. On a windier day, the bigger pack is great. On a calmer day, you may actually want to go to the 2200 3S. So we'll link to both just like we did on the Maiden. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below. We really appreciate you. It's been a good year in 2020. Of course, now we're in 2021, and we hope it's an even better year. We're getting close to the 100,000 mark for subscribers, so definitely share this stuff if you can in your groups. If you like what you see. If you don't like what you see, then I would imagine you won't share it, but just still follow the links and buy the stuff from us. That would help us. Beyond that, any other thoughts, camera crew?
I think that's it for today.
All right, come back for more.